Welcome back everyone. Today's episode we are going to be making some subframe reinforcing mounts, special guest, and making a new tool. Going to try and make a dimple die out some old bearing races. See how we get on. So I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've got some bearing races from work, and basically I really fancy doing a dimple die or making a dimple die. I'm too tight, let's face it, to buy one. So I've got this, and the theory is I'm going to take this bit out, this lip. Then that should give me enough clearance to make a dimple, hopefully. And we're going to try it out on this strengthening plate because it will just look the nuts with a hole in it. This is the bit that I've shaved down. Unfortunately, it's got these nasty bits in it where the wheel bearing had gone. So well, there's not really much I can do about that. I can keep going and going and going with it, but this stuff is really freaking hard. So, you know, this is about as much time as I want to put into this to give it a go. As I squash that into that, hopefully it will bend the steel into there if there is enough space. But that we are not going to know until we give it a try. So let's work out what hole I've got to make in here, and then we'll squash it probably in the vise and hope for the best. Now, do we do 2 holes or 1? I'm thinking 2 holes because more holes, more power. As you can see, we've got a dirty grey hole in it. I'm not sure if it's slightly too big, but it was either this or it would be too small, so we've gone too big. Yeah, we can have a look at that. Whether or not it's going to cut the mustard is yet to be seen. So I'll get the tripod set up, get this set up in the vise, and hopefully I won't get this bit stuck in this with this as a sandwich, because that would not be good, but I can imagine that's probably what is about to happen. But let's go for positive thinking. It might even work. You never know. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. That's about as tight as I can get that vise without putting some extra leverage on it. Nope. Right, so I just tried something else. I've used the other bit as a race, a bigger piece. Maybe there wasn't enough hole, and enough actual diameter here to fold that steel into. That's what I'm thinking at the minute. So I've absolutely fired that home in there in the vise, and let's see what it's done, shall we? Cool. Okay, so that is well and truly wedged in there. Have we got any shape? Oh, we've got a little bit there. Might have got a bit of success. Right, bear with the noise. Yes, we have got a slight dimple there. It's not mega. It's another go. Still got a little bit more work. I'll just keep moving it around a bit and then squashing it back through, and it seems to be working quite nicely. I mean, like I say, it ain't no special tool, but for something that's made out of junk, and I've spent, well, an evening in the garage messing around trying to make something new, having a bit of fun with it, and it's coming out quite nice. I'm so pleased with this. I know, simple things, simple minds and all that. Have a look. Giving it a little clean up. Oh, look at it. I know it's just a hole, but it's the first one I've done and I'm very pleased. So the only thing I may have to sort out is, got a little ridge in there, which is from this bit. So I think maybe if I clean this up a bit better, yeah, maybe put a little bit of a bevel on that, just to take the harshness out of it, and all of this lot basically doesn't actually matter. And that all just went through a 38mm hole. Let's offer it up in the car and have a look, see what it's going to look like. That looks the nuts. I'm glad I didn't go with 2 holes, that would have been a big boo-boo, wouldn't it? Now, all I've got to do is somehow try and make that exactly the same on that side. Right, going off on a tangent as per usual on this channel. So as you can see, one to follow. What's in the bag? Let's have a looky. So these are OMP cage mounting brackets, and some people call these gudgeon pins. I don't know what you want to call them, but it's bits that I've been waiting for. Unfortunately, trying to get these brackets is like a needle in a haystack job. So I thought, timescale wise, I'd order them instead of trying to make these. Making these would probably take me, if I was doing it an hour a night, let's say probably a week for one, I would imagine, and it probably wouldn't be as good as this. So yeah, that's in the pipeline, quite literally. So that will get welded onto the cage like that, and that one will be welded into the end of the cage, which is the harness bar, which you will have to tune in to another video, which will be coming up next, hopefully, and watch what I do with all these bits. Meanwhile, let's get back to these. So the only thing I did differently with this homemade tool is put a tiny little chamfer on that, absolutely tiny, just to stop that little mark, which I think I said about earlier. On the inside you can just see a tiny little ring round there, ever so slightly. You can only just about feel it with your fingernail, so maybe with some primer, hopefully it will disappear. Yeah, the only downside of this is that I would imagine on a proper dimple die set you've got like a locator for this bit in the middle, so you get it super centralized each time, whereas that's just you know, wobbles around. So you might just have to go do a couple of runs at it just to get it nice and even. That came out nearly even the first time. So we've got 2 gussets now, completely cleaned up, ready to weld on. Super happy with that. They're not exactly in the right position, but you get the rough idea. They're both going to get welded to the very back edge of the frame there. That one's sitting absolutely spot on in the right place. That one just needs to move back a little bit. But yeah, I think we get it tacked on, and then probably not seam weld it. I think you sort of need to run little beads and then a little gap of weld to avoid any stress fracturing, I think. Right, you know I'm a fan of showing you warts and all on this, and this sure is some warts on this. I don't know what I was doing tonight, but it is shite. You know, probably trying too hard, trying to make it look a lot better than I can actually do. So I'm gonna have to clean it all back. See if I can prettify it up a bit. But yeah, not very happy with that at all. Let's get the grinder out. It's actually cleaned up quite well, but I'm still not happy. So I decided to get ready with the MIG again. And the reason why, because I've run out of gas. Some gasless welding, we know that ain't no good. It's like pigeon shit. Right, we're looking a lot better than we were. I appreciate I'm no flipping beautiful welder, but that's good enough. Up there, seamed up there, that bit went quite nice. That bit not so good there, but yeah, a bit tricky to get in there. Just going to give it a little linish up with the grinder and then we're done. That side's all cleaned up. Right, now these 2 are done. I figured we might as well just keep going, and we just keep adding more weight to it. Yeah, so this is the thought process at the minute. Something similar to this, maybe not as long. Don't know if I want to go up that high yet, but that's what I'm thinking. Down by that bottom right hand side, I need a nice access hole, so then you can get to those 2 little buggers in there for the top arm. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking at the minute. It'll tie it all down quite nicely, I think. As you can see, it's shrunk down a hell of a lot, mainly because this bit at the back here, I'd have had to bend it around a little bit at the bottom, put a little fold on top, and then it's going to have to end up sort of curving around a bit. It'd just be a nightmare, and for gaining not a lot really. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with at the minute. So we get that chopped out or marked out in a bit of steel, and then chop that out and see what it looks like. Right, so we're rolling along quite nicely with these little reinforcing plates at the minute. I'll take you in and show you. Excuse the clamps, excuse the funky gap at the back, but I can assure you once that's bent, it will tie in nicely round the back there. I think I'll probably get knocked for not using thick enough steel, but this is kind of what I got. It's either this or 3mm steel, and 3mm will be far too tricky for me to bend, especially with that shorter radius. I've only got like a 10mm fold here, but putting the fold in does make it a hell of a lot stronger. Adds a lot more strength to it for sure. So I think we're gonna have to get the subframe cleaned up, get the overlapping steel treated, and then we'll start stitching this together. In theory, with the frame bolted to the car, it shouldn't move around when you weld it. So like these bars coming down, they're all bolted up tight to the front, that should stop everything moving. The tail bolts are in. The lower, the rear mounts, they're bolted in, so in theory nothing should move. That's why I wasn't too worried about welding those in. So yeah, it should hopefully be all good. Thought I'd quickly show you the real world struggle, which is the single garage build. So we've got crap everywhere. Standing between the front end at the minute because I've got basically nowhere to put it. Been doing DIY at the weekend, so I've got sawdust and shit everywhere. There's tools everywhere because I haven't put enough back, which is fairly typical. So you go down this side, you've got a skateboard to break your neck on. And if you can squeeze down this side without knocking that bottle over, oh no, you ain't going to squeeze down there. So the MIG welder's all set up down there. Got a boot, rear subframe there. Let's see if I can get over here without breaking my neck or something else. Welding mask, which I probably ended up kicking over the floor. Bonnet in the car. More bits of DIY wood shit up there. Oh yeah, and we got a door up there as well. Set of wheels, an engine and box. Standard Hoover, another door. But yeah, it's freaking tricky. I know there's lots of you guys doing this out there, but he says as I'm literally dicing with death on the skateboard. Ooh. Right, let's get back to it. Hopefully you'll see me in a second if I don't break my neck on the skateboard. Right, hopefully you can hear the frying bacon. For once I've actually got my settings quite... Oh, bollocks. Bloody missed that tiny bit in the middle there. That's annoying because that was looking quite good. Got my settings quite well tonight, so I actually ended up turning down a little bit, turning down the speed as well. So yeah, not too bad at all for me. Sitting a bit proud. Bit tricky because obviously this bottom bit is, the actual frame is quite a lot thicker than the steel that I'm putting on. We definitely got good penetration, so I will carry on. I might try and turn the wire speed down just a little bit. You know, at Ads Mini Build, we are big on investment in new tools and technology. So I have got a new CAD machine for this lower section of reinforcing plates. I'll show you. I'm very excited. Yeah, so this is it. Honey Hoops box from Tesco's. Other cereals are available, I'd like to point out. Seems to be performing a little bit better than the old air filter boxes, so I can only but recommend maybe investing in something like this. I mean, you could even go all out for a full brand name CAD machine. This is really starting to look quite good. So I've run a bit of weld down here and along this top bit just to tie these two bits in nice and strong. Yeah, I think I should probably do what I did up here and just run a, you know, like a little inch beads along there just to follow on with that. And then I'll seam weld all round this front bit, and this bit I'm planning on popping a little nick in around here somewhere. and then folding that in and then tying that side around into there. That's the plan at the minute. Finally got the welder dialed in right on the last bit, so excuse the little blobs. They a couple of little pinholes that I blew in that top bit, but yeah, typical, isn't it? So I ended up in the amperage again, and shield gas as well. That's probably where I was going wrong, not enough shield gas. But yeah, just give it a little clean up with the grinder. You can see I'm carrying on with the mess, just slowly spreading it around everywhere, which is what you need to do. And then I'm probably going to move on to doing something little in here. Okay, this is the thought process at the minute for a bit more strength in this front piece. Trying to link this upper lip to the bottom lip, basically, with a little bit of steel like that. Kind of like they've done here, really, with the gearbox mount. But do, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these maybe across along here. Let's call these shark fins, patent pending. Under here like that. I think that would look alright. It's going to help. So most people run a big sheet of steel across there with a load of holes in it, or triangles. It looks very cool, but we're not most people, and you know. Also, I don't want to end up with a void down here for me to drop nuts and bolts in, which would be really flipping annoying. And I don't want to go and drill loads of holes in this, because my dimple die definitely will not work on this. So this is what we're going with at the minute. I'm going to knock a few of these up, see what they look like, hold them in with some magnets, and then we go from there. On my slightly dodgy route out of the garage last night, nearly tripping over the 3mm steel, I thought, you know what, I really should be using that. So it's a good job, you know, leaving stuff in the way can trigger some sparks. There we are, look at that, it looks like something out of a freaking Mad Max film. But I think it would tighten this whole area up. Obviously we've got that mount in there like I said before. I think that looks pretty tidy. So we get that cleaned up and stick them in. Looking good, I think. Done a nice bit of welding as well, because I tried setting it up. That bit looks a bit crap there. But yeah, I actually set the machine up a little bit before I did the main event. Let's have a look from the other side. So some bits, yeah, I'm well pleased with that, looking good, apart from these bits up the back. You can't really see very well, but trying to get up here with your torch with your head pointing down, oh man, not good. Very, very tricky. But yeah, it's welded on, it looks good. It looks and it sounds, tap test, super strong. So yeah, I think we're getting pretty much to the end of this. If you skipped all the way to the end, which you probably have, because it's got a bit boring. So we got them two. These side reinforcers, all looking good, all tying in this this front mount, front suspension mount point, all up the side, just ties it in a bit stronger. And then obviously we've got these Mad Max shark fins on the front, which I'm now going to give a real good clean up. And because I've used a 3mm steel, I can actually sort of curve the top of it over, so you don't slash yourself to bits when you're doing maintenance jobs like oil filter change. That's all primed up now, looking nice and neat and tidy. Yeah, I did run a little bead of weld down there and down on this side as well, because it only had a couple of little blobs on there, so thought whilst we were putting those strengthening bits in, we might as well tie it all in nicely together. Thanks again for tuning in. If this is your first video you've watched on my channel, maybe go and have a look at my other ones. They're equally as bad as this, but I'll let you decide. So maybe go and check them out, and maybe we'll see you again next time.